Rain pounded the sidewalk that Tuesday morning when Sarah Mitchell stopped and checked her watch. 6:55 a.m. Keep walking, and she'd arrive on time to her job in Coral Gables. Stop to help the drenched, confused elderly woman at the bus stop, and she'd lose everything. She closed her eyes. "Lord, show me the way," she whispered. When she opened them, the woman stared back with clear blue eyes full of fear. Sarah took a breath, folded her broken umbrella, and walked toward her. She didn't know yet that this choice would cost her job, test her faith to breaking, and reveal that sometimes planting good means harvesting pain first. Before discovering God forgets nothing planted with the heart. She closed her eyes. "Lord, show me the way," she whispered. When she opened them, the woman stared back with clear blue eyes full of fear. Sarah took a breath, folded her broken umbrella, and walked toward her. She didn't know yet that this choice would cost her job, test her faith to breaking, and reveal that sometimes planting good means harvesting pain first. Before discovering God forgets nothing planted with the heart. The alarm rang at 5. Sarah Mitchell opened her eyes and whispered, "Lord, guide my steps today." At 35, waking before sunrise was routine. Prayer was what gave her strength. In the next room, Nathan slept with that faint wheeze that always tightened her chest. The 8-year-old had lived with asthma since infancy. Sarah entered quietly, checked the inhaler on his nightstand, straightened his blanket. She made coffee and sandwiches in the kitchen, one for the road, another for Nathan's lunch. She filled his water bottle and tucked the spare inhaler in his backpack with a note. "Good luck on your math test, champ. Love, Mom." By 6, she was out the door. Rain had started. Sarah opened her old umbrella with 2 broken ribs and walked fast toward the bus stop. Nathan would stay with Mrs. Johnson, who charged $100 weekly to watch him before school. Money she could barely spare, but necessary. The Coral Gables bus was packed. Sarah gripped the pole, calculating. Arrive by 8:45 if traffic cooperated. 15 minutes to spare. Mrs. Reynolds didn't tolerate lateness. She got off on Miracle Mile with 15 minutes to walk. Rain had lightened, but the September wind cut through her jacket. Then she saw her. An elderly woman sat at the stop, completely soaked. Light blue dress clinging to her body, yellow cardigan on her shoulders, wet slippers, white hair disheveled. That lost expression Sarah recognized instantly. 6:55 a.m. "Excuse me, ma'am." Sarah covered her with the umbrella. "Are you okay?" The woman looked up. Beautiful, clear eyes, but vacant. I don't know. "Where's David? My son David should be here." Sarah's throat tightened. She knew that look. "What's your name?" Helen Reynolds." Her voice trembled. "I'm cold. I want to go home, but I don't remember the way." Reynolds. The name sparked recognition, but Miami was full of Reynolds families. Sarah checked the woman's pockets and found crumpled paper. 2847 Sunset Drive, Pinecrest. 7 a.m. Her job was in the opposite direction. She thought of Nathan, his medicines, doctor visits, the job holding it all together, then looked at Helen, shivering and afraid. "It's okay, Mrs. Helen. I'll take you home." 15 minutes to flag a taxi. When one finally stopped, Sarah negotiated. $45, nearly a full day's wages. She helped Helen inside and gave the driver the address. Helen spoke in fragments during the ride, sometimes about her son David, a construction company, a daughter named Patricia, other times calling for someone named Robert. Sarah held her hand. "You're very kind," Helen said clearly. "Like my David, he always helps people." The address led to an impressive mansion. Sarah asked the taxi to wait and pressed the intercom. A housekeeper answered. Seconds later, the gate opened and the woman rushed toward them. "Oh my God, Mrs. Reynolds, Mr. David has been frantic." Sarah helped Helen out. The housekeeper wrapped her in a blanket. "How can we thank you? Please leave your name and number." "That's not necessary." Sarah was already heading back. 8:45 a.m., over half an hour late. "Just take care of her." She paid the $45 and ran the last 2 blocks. Arrived at 9:15. Breathless, soaked, uniform still in her bag. Karen, the cook, opened the service entrance, worried. "Sarah, where were you?" "Mrs. Reynolds is furious." Patricia Reynolds' sharp voice cut through. "Miss Mitchell, my office, now!" Sarah followed, the world narrowing around her. Patricia didn't offer a seat. She stood behind her desk, arms crossed. 90 minutes late, explanation. "Mrs. Reynolds, I'm so sorry. I found an elderly woman on the street. She was lost." "And that's your problem?" Patricia interrupted. When I hired you 2 years ago, I made my expectations clear. Punctuality, professionalism, reliability. Please, it was an emergency. The woman was confused, soaked. You couldn't prioritize your responsibilities to this household. Patricia pulled an envelope from her drawer. I appreciated your work. You were efficient, but I can't tolerate this. Here's your pay through today plus 1 week severance. Sarah's world stopped. Mrs. Reynolds, please. I have a son who needs medication. You should have considered that before. Patricia extended the envelope. Collect your things. Sarah took it with shaking hands. She wanted to scream, plead, but dignity held her back. Thank you for the opportunity. In the staff room, Karen hugged her silently. You did the right thing. Don't let her convince you otherwise. Walking back through the rain, Sarah didn't feel right. She felt destroyed. The following days blurred into closed doors. We already have staff. Leave your number. Not hiring. Each rejection landed like a stone. Patricia's envelope held $700. Rent was $200. Nathan's medicine, $150. Doctor appointment, $200. Mrs. Johnson, $100 weekly. The math didn't work before counting food. Sarah walked through grocery stores asking about openings. She answered ads for cleaning services that never called back. The bank refused her loan application within 5 minutes. No current employment, no collateral. One afternoon, returning from another failed attempt, she passed an upscale restaurant in Coral Gables. Through the window, 3 women laughing, wine glasses catching light, designer bags on empty chairs. Something bitter twisted inside her. So easy for them. Never gone hungry, never been humiliated. She stopped walking, ashamed. Forgive me, she whispered. By week 2, Nathan's inhaler ran low. Sarah stretched it, letting him use it only when absolutely necessary. He wheezed more at night. She lay awake listening, calculating how many more days until it ran out completely. Mrs. Johnson came by with a casserole. Saw you weren't cooking much. Everyone needs help sometimes. I don't know how to thank you. Don't thank me, just accept. The older woman squeezed her hand. God's working on something, you'll see. Sarah wanted to believe her. The night before Nathan's appointment she couldn't afford, she sat alone in the kitchen. Nathan slept with that concerning wheeze. She opened her Bible but couldn't focus on the words. Then anger came. Why? Not a whisper, a demand. I did everything right. Helped that woman. Been honest always. Mark abandoned us. Where were you? They accused me of stealing. Where were you? Now I lose my job for doing good? Tears came hard. Silent, so Nathan wouldn't hear. Rage and fear and crushing loneliness. Finally exhausted. Forgive me. I know you're there, but it hurts. She fell asleep at the table, Bible open to Job. Morning light woke her. Stiff neck, dried tears on her face. Mrs. Johnson's newspaper lay beside her coffee cup. An advertisement caught her eye. Reynolds Development Corporation, administrative assistant position available. Reynolds. The name pulled at something in her chest. She'd sworn off big companies after pharmacare. 4 years ago, pregnant with fear, she'd begged them to check security footage. They'd refused. The supervisor who accused her was later fired for theft. But by then, Sarah had moved on. The stain remained on her record. Families are safer, she'd told herself. Private homes meant fewer complications. But she had $200 left. Nathan needed medicine. Rent was due in 5 days. Sarah stared at the advertisement. Something stirred. Not hope exactly. Just a whisper underneath the fear. Get up. She got up. Borrowed Karen's computer to send her resume. Wrote a cover letter emphasizing organization, reliability, attention to detail. Left pharmacare off entirely. Started her work history with Patricia Reynolds. Her cursor hovered over send for a full minute. Then she clicked it. 2 days later, an email arrived. Interview scheduled for Tuesday, 10 a.m. Sarah read it 3 times to make sure it was real. Karen lent Sarah her daughter's clothes. Black pants, white blouse. You've got this. The building on Brickell Avenue rose 20 stories, all glass and steel. Sarah's reflection stared back as she entered, a woman trying to look confident. Laura Stevens from HR was efficient but kind. Your references are strong. Mr. Reynolds interviews all final candidates personally. Can you stay? Her heart jumped. Of course. David Reynolds had kind eyes and gray threading through dark hair. Mid-40s, she guessed. Those clear blue eyes struck her immediately. Tell me about yourself, Ms. Mitchell. Sarah talked about Nathan, her drive to provide for him. When he asked about her previous job, she chose honesty. I was let go for tardiness, but I was late because I found a woman on the street. Elderly, confused, soaked from rain. I couldn't leave her. David's posture changed. He leaned forward. When? September 12th, Tuesday morning, about 2 weeks ago. Where exactly? Miracle Mile near Douglas. Sarah frowned. Why does it matter? Describe her. 70 or so, white hair, blue dress, yellow cardigan, slippers. She said her name was Helen, and she was looking for her son David. David stood abruptly. You're the one who saved my mother. The next hour was surreal. David explained Helen's Alzheimer, their frantic search that morning. I've been looking for you for weeks, and you worked for my sister Patricia. When everything connected, the irony was almost painful. The job is yours, David said. Start Monday, $2,500 monthly. Full health coverage for you and Nathan. Sarah left floating, tears streaming as she reached the street. 3 hours later, Laura entered David's office holding a file. We need to talk about Ms. Mitchell. She set papers on his desk. Background check flagged something. Termination for cause at Pharmacare Pharmaceuticals 4 years ago. Theft accusation. David felt punched. That's impossible. Missing inventory. She was warehouse supervisor. Laura's expression was sympathetic but firm. The board won't approve this, Mr. Reynolds. Someone with that record in a trust position? It sets a precedent we can't afford. David studied his mother's photo on the desk. I need to speak with her. Sir, give me until tomorrow. That night, alone, David did something he hadn't done in years. Closed his eyes and prayed. Show me the truth, Father. Next morning, he called Sarah. His tone was different. Careful. Ms. Mitchell, I need you to come in tomorrow. There's something we need to discuss. Her stomach dropped. Is there a problem with the position? Just come, please. The line went dead. Sarah stared at her phone. She knew. Somehow she knew. He found Pharmacare. The words came out flat. It's over. That night she couldn't sleep. Nathan asked why she looked sad. Just tired, honey. But you got the job, right? You said you got it. We'll see, baby. We'll see. She lay awake calculating. 3 days until rent. $180 left. Nathan's inhaler would last maybe a week. Please, she whispered into the dark. I can't do this again. No answer came. Just the sound of Nathan's breathing and Miami traffic outside. Morning arrived too fast. Sarah dressed in Karen's borrowed clothes again and took the bus to Brickell Avenue. This time, when the glass doors closed behind her, they felt like a trap. Laura sat in the corner. David gestured to a chair. Ms. Mitchell, our background check found an accusation in your employment history. Silence filled the room. Pharmacare. Sarah barely got the word out. Tell me what happened. She steadied herself. Mark had just left. Nathan was 4. She worked warehouse inventory when expensive anticonvulsants went missing. My supervisor accused me immediately. No investigation, no camera review. I begged them to look at the footage. They refused. Her voice cracked. Later, I heard he had gambling debts. I thought about hiding it from my resume, but I can't build a life on lies. If you can't hire me, I understand. David watched her carefully. My board will resist this, but I'm going to investigate. 1 week. If I find no reason to doubt you, the position is yours. 7 days crawled by. Sarah barely ate. Laura contacted Pharmacare and obtained archived security footage. The video showed the supervisor removing products during a shift Sarah wasn't even working. 6 months after Sarah's firing, they'd terminated him for theft. David called her back, showed her the evidence. You were wrongly accused. I'll provide a letter clearing your record. Sarah's tears weren't joy. They were 4 years of shame being washed away. Thank you for believing me. That afternoon, David drove to Patricia's house in Pinecrest. The woman who saved Mom, Sarah Mitchell, your housekeeper. You fired her for being late because she was saving our mother. Patricia went white. I had no idea. You didn't want to know. His voice rose. 2 years of perfect work and you discarded her like nothing. I maintain standards. Standards? David's laugh was harsh. When did you become so cold? Patricia's defenses cracked. When Robert left, being kind felt like weakness. Days later, Patricia appeared at Sarah's apartment. The conversation was strained. I came to apologize. I already accepted. Sarah's tone was polite but distant. You haven't forgiven me? Forgiving doesn't erase pain, Mrs. Reynolds. Patricia left carrying that weight. Sarah started at Reynolds Development. Proved herself through work, not story. Mrs. Johnson celebrated. See? God's timing. Patricia tried changing. Raised wages, added benefits. But stress made her snap at Karen one morning. "No, ma'am." Karen's voice was steady. "Not anymore." Patricia froze. Then shame colored her face. Real change required vigilance. Months later at a company event, Patricia approached Sarah. "I'm still trying." "I see that." Sarah nodded. "I recognize it." "How do you not hate me?" Sarah considered. "I do carry hurt, but I won't let it own me." Something genuine passed between them. 6 months in, David promoted Sarah to junior project coordinator. "You earned this." One rainy morning a year after helping Helen, Sarah saw an elderly man confused at a bus stop. She didn't hesitate, called emergency services, waited with him. This time no clock threatened, no job hung in balance. She could help without sacrifice. That evening Nathan asked, "You helped someone again?" "Yes." "Were you scared?" Sarah knelt to his level. "We do right because it's right, not for rewards. But God is faithful. Sometimes answers take time. Sometimes the path hurts. But they come. Like with Grandma Helen." "Exactly. I lost everything. Even yelled at God. Honesty felt important. But he was working when I couldn't see it. So we always help. We always do what's right. Especially when it's hard. Those seeds grow the strongest fruit." 6 months became a year. Sarah moved to a 2-bedroom in Kendall. Nathan finally had his own room. Walls he decorated with space posters. His asthma attacks had dropped to once a month, sometimes less. David promoted her again. Project coordination manager. "You've earned it, Sarah. Not because of what happened, but because you're good at this." The salary let her breathe. Really breathe. No more calculations at grocery stores. No more panic when Nathan's inhaler ran low. One Saturday, David invited her to visit Helen. They found her in the garden, rare lucidity lighting her face. "The rain girl," Helen whispered, taking Sarah's hand. "I remember. You helped me. I'm glad you're safe, Mrs. Reynolds." Helen smiled. "God sees everything. Never forget that." At a company anniversary event, Sarah found herself talking with Patricia and her boyfriend Carlos. Patricia looked softer now, less armored. "I'm trying," Patricia said when they were alone. "Some days are harder than others. That's honest. Carlos says I'm getting better, learning to listen before judging." Patricia paused. "How do you do it?" "Move past hurt." "I still feel it sometimes," Sarah admitted. "But I decided it won't make my choices for me." Patricia nodded slowly, understanding settling between them. During a staff meeting, David mentioned Sarah's work. "She's changed how we operate. People work differently knowing character counts as much as credentials." The words meant more than any raise. 1 year and 3 months after that rainy morning, Sarah walked to work under gray skies. An elderly man sat on a bench looking confused. Wet from drizzle, no umbrella. She stopped without thinking, sat beside him. "Can I help you find someone?" He looked at her gratefully. "I don't know where I am." Sarah called 911, stayed until paramedics arrived, gave them what information she could. When they thanked her, she just smiled. It's what we're supposed to do. No job lost. No consequences. Just the ability to help without fear. That night, putting Nathan to bed, he asked, "Mom, why do you always stop?" "Stop? For people who need help. You always stop." Sarah sat on his bed edge. "Because someone stopped for me once. Mrs. Johnson with her casseroles. Karen with her clothes. Even Mr. Reynolds believing me when he had every reason not to. Like planting seeds? Exactly like that. You plant not knowing what you'll get back, but you plant anyway. Did you always believe that? Even when you were mad at God?" She was quiet a moment. "No, there was a night I screamed at him. Thought he'd abandoned us. What changed? I realized doubt doesn't mean no faith. It means human faith. Real faith that struggles and questions and keeps going anyway." Nathan considered this. "So it's okay to be angry? It's okay to be honest. God's big enough for our anger." He hugged her tight. "I'm glad you stopped that day, for Grandma Helen." "Me too, baby. Me too." Later, Sarah stood at her window watching Miami's lights. She didn't pretend it had been easy. The struggle was real, the pain deep, the doubt crushing. But she'd learned something valuable. Doing right costs something. Always. The question is whether you're willing to pay. And the answer, she'd discovered, was yes. Because the harvest, when it finally came, fed more than just yourself. It fed everyone watching, wondering if goodness still mattered. And that made every moment of struggle worth it. Reynolds Development's event hall glowed with soft lighting. Sarah adjusted her navy dress and watched 200 guests celebrate the company's 30th anniversary. At 38, she managed a team of 5 as project coordination manager. "Mom, they have those desserts you like." Nathan, 11 now and noticeably taller, pointed toward the catering table. "Go ahead. Just pace yourself." David approached, pushing Helen's wheelchair. Alzheimer had progressed, but her eyes brightened seeing Sarah. "My angel," Helen murmured. Sarah squeezed her hand gently. "Hello, Mrs. Reynolds." David waited until his mother dozed. "I have an offer. We're opening an Orlando branch next year. I want you leading project coordination there. Significant raise, housing allowance, private school for Nathan included." Sarah's breath caught. That's huge. Think about it. But I trust you for this." Patricia arrived with Carlos. She looked different from 3 years ago. Softer, more present. "Sarah, finally." Patricia smiled warmly. "Carlos has been wanting to meet you." They talked briefly before Patricia pulled her aside. "You taught me something important. That strength isn't hardness. I still mess up, but I'm learning. That's all any of us can do." David gave a speech thanking everyone. He mentioned integrity, character, how companies reflect the people within them. His eyes found Sarah briefly. In the car home, Nathan asked, "Are we moving to Orlando? Would you want to? If you're happy, I'm happy. It'd be an adventure. When did you get so brave?" "Learned from you." At home, as Nathan brushed his teeth, he called out, "Mom, if you hadn't helped Grandma Helen that day, I did what was right. God handled the rest." "But weren't you terrified?" Sarah sat on his bed, completely terrified. "When I lost that job, I thought we'd lose everything. Didn't know how we'd survive." "Did you really yell at God?" "I did. Angry, hurt, felt totally abandoned. Complete honesty. Thought he'd forgotten us." "What made you believe again?" "Realizing he never asked me to understand, just to trust. Even when it hurt, even when I couldn't see where we were going." Nathan was quiet. Then, "Will it always be scary? Doing what's right?" "Sometimes. But you know what I learned? The scary moments are where faith actually lives. Not in the easy times. In the hard ones." She kissed his forehead and turned off the light. At the living room window, she looked out at Miami's sprawl. Didn't sugarcoat the memory. Those weeks after losing her job had been brutal. Real. Nearly broke her. But standing here now, she understood something deeper. The point wasn't the happy ending. It was who she'd chosen to be when everything was falling apart. That choice, to help Helen despite the cost, wasn't rewarded because it led somewhere good. It was right on its own. The harvest came not as payment, but as grace. And that harvest wasn't just hers. It belonged to Nathan, learning what character meant. To Patricia, discovering she could change. To everyone at Reynolds Development who saw that integrity still mattered. Sarah smiled at her reflection in the dark window. Tomorrow she'd tell David yes about Orlando. A new city, new challenges, new opportunities to plant good seeds. Because that's what you did when you understood the real lesson. You don't plant for the harvest you'll get. You plant because planting good is who you choose to be. And that choice, repeated every day in big moments and small, that was the only thing worth building a life on. The harvest would come, or it wouldn't. But the planting, that was always yours. The end. What are you planting today? This story reminds us that every act of kindness, every choice to do right, even when it costs everything, matters more than we know. Maybe you're in your own valley right now wondering if goodness still counts. It does. Always. If this story touched you, leave a comment. Have you ever done the right thing and lost everything? How did you find your way through? Like this video if you believe character still matters. Subscribe for more stories that remind you faith is worth it. Share with someone who needs to know their harvest is coming. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Galatians 6:9. See you in the next story.